Hello.
The voice from above.
It's all right. I'm coming back. Hi.
Good evening, Peter.
Sorry about that. Don't know what I did to myself there.
Are you freelancing this week?
Have a what?
Are you freelancing this week?
As what?
Well, you look like an elf, so I'm assuming you're doing some work for Big Man.
Well, it's just my elf hat. So one of my pupils gave me my elf hat. But
Do they not like you? Like
my bobbly bit's not sitting right. I don't know what's happening. Look, it's sticking out the side. It looks like a pregnant chicken or something. Right, that's worse. That's worse.
Oh, dearie.
Okay. Good evening, folks. Welcome. Nice to have you all joining us.
Nice to have you. Nice.
Thank you. Before I start, thank you very much to all the folks, because there was quite a number of you messaged and said, were we all right in Shetland? Because you were seeing all this national news about no power and internet and things. And Vi Todd, Davey, mind Vi from Milne, thought, Vi even messaged and said, if there's anything you're needing, just let us get it, we'll send it up. What a woman.
Postal strikes.
What a wife. But that's great. So thank you very much. But we're all fine. And the last I heard was the last of the houses got electricity back today. So that's a week for some people, though. That's been a long time. A long time. And as I was saying to Davey earlier on, it's not really just because of the amount of snow. I think the lines were freezing with water and snow and everything and pulling everything down. So
what Peter means is that Shetland doesn't have the infrastructure that us in the mainland do.
Well, we did 60 years ago when the oil was here.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe just
last belt roads.
It's maybe just getting old now.
Speaking of getting old.
Yeah. What's happened?
Just mocking you, Peter, to us here.
Where was it today? Derek was at
Bells Hill.
My God, it's really exotic setting tonight, Derek. That's great.
Pool in Dorset, Katie's in Carnoustie, Catelyn is in Oxfordshire, and Joanne Renton is in the Borders.
Fantastic.
And Jean's in Killen. It's always good. Well,
yeah, so we've been off work all week, but you said to me you got a snow day the other day too.
I got a snow day on Friday. That was rather funny.
Yeah.
We set off. I got picked up, and we got a message from a domestic assistant who lives in the village.
Right.
And basically, she said the plough hasn't been through yet. There's no point trying to get in.
All right.
So we turned back round and went back home. So yeah, all good, all good. It's kind of a sad evening tonight, isn't it? Because this is our last show of 2022.
I know, but I was just looking at it the other day, and you know the thing that always reminds me, Davey, of how old this show is now is we had our email address. Our email address is tartantunes20@gmail.com. If anybody ever wants to email us. And that reminds me that we started in 2020. So there you go. That's 2 years in the bag. And we're still going, which is great. A massive, massive congratulations to Gary Innes last night, pulling off the Hooley at the Hydro. That looked unbelievably amazing.
I was a bit, again, where was our invite? But
oh, yeah, Gary must have forgot to invite us.
Yeah, he didn't mention it when we were at the Trads. Didn't mention it.
But you know something, it was amazing to see so many people turning out to see Scottish music. That's phenomenal. And his idea was, which I heard him on the radio saying, well, my idea is great. He says, hopefully, if this can stand up, what's to stop some of these bands putting a night on themselves somewhere and selling out a big place?
Yep, exactly.
And that's really probably what we need to get the music out into the viewpoint all the time and get it selling again. Ladies and gentlemen, Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to hit the share button for us. Keep the numbers up tonight. There's no Strictly on. There's no World Cup. So there's no excuses tonight.
Speaking of excuses.
Yeah. I look quite fetching in this.
Who told you that?
Elf on the Shelf, eh? What do you think?
Head in the shed?
What?
Head in the shed. I don't know.
I thought you said wood in the hood. I like that one better.
Came on the plane? That was last week.
Listen, so we've got some brilliant music for you tonight as well. We've got Ciar Milne coming on. I know the lad.
He does.
Piper, and he's got some fantastic videos coming up, and we'll get him on to speak to us in a wee while.
But in the meantime, we're going to have a video from a previous guest, Mr. Ross Miller.
Mr. Miller.
Who has been using social media to spread joy and cheer with his Christmas arrangements on the bagpipes. So
it's great. It's great. I love
tonight,
this. He does. It's magic.
Tonight we have Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
This is great. Enjoy it.
I'd like to. This was filmed tonight during the Argentina game, as you can see by his reaction to the goal. Brilliant again. Brilliant.
Well,
Who's in? Can't hear you. He's a bit frozen. See, that proves how far north he is now. Doing a bit of locum work for Santa. So what we'll do is we'll have another video. In the meantime, from Cammy Barnes and Blythe Duff of Taggart fame. Here's their rendition of Fairy Tale of New York.
Yeah, I'm getting there. There's only so much you can do. I've ordered myself a cheeky wee takeaway.
Sounds nice.
What time is it with you?
Mum, New York is Glasgow -5.
I know. Be nice if you were here, though. I mean, obviously, I'm glad that you're there, but, you know, Christmas is... Oh, yeah, it just does something to you. I'm really proud of you, my darling. What a year, eh?
It was Christmas Eve, Mum, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the real old Mountain Dew. I turned my face away and I dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas, I love you, baby. I could see a better time when all our dreams come true. They've got cars big as bars, they've got rivers of gold, but when the wind goes right through you,
It's no place for the old.
when you first took my hand on that cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me.
You were handsome.
You're pretty, queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they howled out for more.
Sinatra was swinging.
All the drunks they were singing. We laughed on the corner and danced through the night. And the boys in the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. I could have been someone.
Well, so could anyone.
You took my dreams from me when I first found you. I kept them with me, Mum. I put them with my own. Can't make it all alone. I've built my dreams around you. And the boys in the NYPD choir still singing Galway Bay. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. And the boys in the NYPD choir still singing Galway Bay. And the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day.
Still can't hear you, Peter. I think Peter's had a bit of problems tonight. It's always good fun. Can anyone else hear Peter, or is it just me? Anyway. Oh well, while Peter's trying to get himself sorted out, we are going to bring on our guest for this week, Piper from Dundee, Mr. Ciar Milne.
Hello, everyone.
So it's not just me then, Ciar.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah.
Aye. Great. Yeah.
Peter, you want to do a complete restart?
Can't hear you.
Oh
Oh,
well. So, Ciar, thanks for joining us tonight. Do you want to tell folk a bit about yourself and how you started in piping? Just get off the
Aye,
bat.
of course. Yeah. So, hello, I'm Ciar Milne. I'm from Dundee, as Davey said. So I started chanter at my local boys' brigade, the Dundee 6th 8th, when I was about 6 or 7. My mum really pushed me to do that, so I'm very thankful that she did. And then I started getting lessons at school, primary school, from Ian Duncan, brother of the late great Gordon Duncan. And then when he retired, started getting lessons at school from Pipe Major Derek Potter, who had just finished his role as Sovereign's Piper for the Queen. So, yep, kept doing that at school. But in tandem with that, my family kept going over to a place called South Uist, which is an island in the Outer Hebrides. And that was so that my mum and my sister could attend Cialis, which is a kind of a summer Scottish traditional music feish camp thing. So a school type thing that goes on for a week. And that was where I started to be exposed to these kind of other instruments like bellows pipes and whistles and fiddles. And then a few years later, I went along to that Cialis myself to do the youth piping course. And that really got me out of the pipe band kind of playing and more of the sets on their own, so like Strasby's reels instead of that structured medley style, which was quite cool. And then I got myself a set of bellows pipes, again from seeing them at Cialis. It really inspired me to get them. So when I got them, I went back to Cialis to do the piping for dancing class. And that's not piping for Highland dancing, that's piping for Scottish step dancing, which is slightly different. So that really got me into the trad scene, not just kind of the piping world, but really into the trad scene and working with other instrumentalists, as well as other instruments, so not just other pipers, which is quite cool as well.
Yeah.
And then that really inspired me to apply for the piping degree at the Royal Conservatoire, and I was lucky enough to be accepted onto that. So I started there in September of 2019, and here I am.
So you managed to get your first year under your belt before the whole kind of COVID thing hit?
Yes, I got a few months of the full in-person stuff, so about 4 or 5 months, which was great, maybe 6 months, which was ideal, and then it just kind of, as we all know, came to a halt.
So how did that affect the teaching side of things for yourself? What Peter?
Hello.
Peter.
Can you hear me now?
Aye, we can. Yep.
All right, I've jumped off the computer and went onto the mobile. So here's hope.
That's fine.
Good. So teaching online for pipes. I'm sure the pipers out there will know that kind of tone of the instrument is a big aspect of kind of lessons and performances. So that was kind of semi-stripped away from us. Zoom, Skype, FaceTime is great, but you can't hear everything. Still able to get the information across, what to work on, technique-wise, and, what tunes to learn. But, the real nitty-gritty stuff, just couldn't really do that. Just, it's essential to have that in person.
He's gone again.
He's off. He's bored.
Oh, he's back.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so with that, how did that work for yourself? So previously you were getting how many lessons per week, face-to-face?
So we're allocated about an hour to 90 minutes. So that was just put all online. All of our lectures, all classes were put online. So we had, some group work stuff that was, how do we do it online? And that was one of the good things that came out of the pandemic and working online. Got a greater grasp of, working with Logic or all these online stuff, and putting videos together and whatnot. That was really beneficial.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into our first video tonight. Do you want to tell us a bit about this track?
Yes. So this video takes us back to first year, actually, which was one of the only in-person performances I was able to do. I thought there'd be many more ahead of me. How wrong was I? So in this video, I'm joined by the wonderful pianist Iona Reid, who's also on the course with me, doing the traditional music course. So start off with a march that I wrote for a good friend of mine who's also on the course, a girlfriend called Josephine de Geer, who's a silver flautist. So a tune called Josephine's March, and then I go into a good old Strathspey Cutty's Wedding, and then In and Out the Harbour that I heard from Blazing Fiddles, and finishing off with The Sister's Reel.
There we go.
Excellent. Can you hear me at all? No.
Aye, so
No.
Yeah, so aye.
Davey, if you can hear me, I'm going to leave it to you because I'm just interrupting things in the flow of things here.
you're fine. You're totally fine.
Can you hear me now? I think it's the
Can you hear
hat. Yeah, I think it's the hat that's doing it.
Maybe move it a bit at a different angle, get a different signal. Try that.
Right, okay. Listen, that was an excellent set of tunes. Loved that combination as well. Great piano and the small pipes. Brilliant.
Yeah,
So I
thank you
take
very
it
much.
I take it that's kind of stemming from the playing for step dancing sort of style of piping.
Aye, yes. So as I said, getting into Keolis. It was my mum and sister that got us going there, and they're both Scottish step dancers. So I've kind of grown up with that around the house, which is painfully annoying at sometimes, but beneficial at other times when trying to learn a new style of playing.
It was unfortunate there, Davey, that my internet's going up and down because I was actually having a wee step dance in the background there.
Is that what that noise was?
You would have seen that if it wasn't.
I actually thought that you were pouring some marbles into a tin jug.
Aye.
So
The dogs come to say hello now as well. Look, it's all happening here tonight.
Lucky us.
Oh.
There you go. Marrying here. So that was your first year. So what would that have been? That was you were playing Scottish small pipes there, correct?
Yep, Scottish small pipes.
Is that a Hamish Moore set, is it?
Yes, Finmore set that I'd got, I think, just a year prior to that. That was just about 3 years ago, pretty much to the day.
So you took a fancy to the small pipes. You like playing small pipes, then?
Yeah, it's something that I was encouraged to most pipers. I think the natural progression is chanter, Gusta, and Highland pipes, and a lot of people, especially where I grew up in Dundee, don't even know that these pipes exist, unfortunately. I played them a wee bit in school, at some concerts, and always got feedback saying, what are these, and it's great to hear them. So I felt I achieved something, playing them at school, and I still really want to go back to Dundee, the likes of Davey, and just kind of promote them. So few small pipers in comparison to Highland pipers.
And it is, as you know yourself, here, it is a completely different beast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The bellows, even without the bellows, mouth-blown ones are completely different because they're not as forgiving as the Highland pipes can be.
Yes, I mean, I've mainly only played bellows, which is, being a piper, or most pipers, you're led to control your left arm till there's no tomorrow. But then you've got to add in that bellows arm, which is quite hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I always found whenever I tried small pipes, I remember trying Gary West's like 25 years, 30 years ago, and I stopped breathing for some reason.
Yeah, that's something I always notice. People, when they're starting out on the small pipes, they try to either stop breathing or they breathe along with the bellowing, because it's muscle memory to when your left arm's getting close, you start breathing out.
To be fair, the breathing with the bellows is a good thing because at least you're still breathing.
Yeah,
always helps.
No, my technique was not a clever one. It wasn't good because it's not a good idea to stop breathing altogether. It's just not a good idea. Not a good idea. So,
but you are kind of grounded in traditional piping styles, because that leads us on to our next video, which is a set of 2/4s. Do you want to tell us a bit about the 2/4s and the video itself? Yes.
So this is a video from my third year recital at the Conservatoire. So just back in May this year, and I looked at my repertoire with my teachers. So with John Mahern and Finlay MacDonald, and this set consists of small 2-parter 2/4, so not kind of 4-parters or competition tunes. And you don't really hear too many small 2/4s kind of out with the whole RSPBA grade 4 stuff. So these are kind of tunes that you wouldn't hear. So we've got a tune by one of my teachers, John Mulhern, called Whitebrook, which is named after a place he holidays in Wales. And then a Donald MacLeod tune called the 3rd Seaforth Highlanders, I believe. And then a Bruce Clark tune called City of Tomorrow Pipe Band Centennial. And then it finishes off with an absolute great tune called Balchragan by John Somerville.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So as folk have noticed there as well, that would have been just after they started allowing you to play in front of crowds again.
Yep. Yeah, so to have an audience at my 3rd year recital was absolutely great. You know, the 4th years, so the year above me, it was their first in-person recital as well, which is quite strange for a recital to finish your whole degree. So very, very fortunate, and of course this year I can only presume my recital will be in person as well. So really fortunate to have that for both years. Aye, well, see how the plane goes.
Really nice, really nice to hear the wee 2/4s there, though, because as you say, you get the standard kind of ones that we hear all the time, but you don't hear different ones. And there's some smashing tunes out there, and there's some smashing old tunes as well that didn't get played very much actually.
Yep.
And wee 6/8s are a favourite of mine as well. I love some of the wee 2-part 6/8s and that. They're crackers,
Yep.
Really
Absolutely.
melodic tunes. I get from your playing already that you really enjoy a melody, and you like hearing a strong melody, and also the kind of contemporary way. You're quite happy to play the small pipes, and you're quite happy to involve other instruments and stuff like that. And I caught earlier. I'm sorry, folks, I was having bother with internet earlier on there in Shetland. We've just got electricity in the last few days. Well, not for the first
years. Yeah,
not for the first time ever, but anyway, no, but when you said, I caught the wee bit when you were speaking, you were saying Ian Duncan taught you at school and that, and I think Ian's one of these guys that's a great, very musical, because when you looked at Ian and Gordon right through, there was always different instruments involved and everything. They were really musical guys, and it was it's obviously shining through in you now as well, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having these music courses, like the University of Highlands and Islands course and the RCS course, it's just having some cracking instrumentalists at your disposal is just, it's great. Asking to meet up for a tune or try something new. It's always good fun.
Yeah, good.
But just kind of jump ahead to early January next year. It's been announced that you're part of the Bells and Whistles event.
Yes.
With Philly McDonald, Ailey Sutherland, a guy called Ross Ainsley, no idea, and yourself. How did that come about? Is that all but on the basis of being taught by Finlay and the rest of the guys?
Yes and no. Not just from that. So in the summer, Finlay kind of asked me to do some teaching for the Piping Centre. So I've been doing that since about June time. And in the recent months, been stepping up to do some adult gathering stuff. Getting experience doing some adult classes. And I kind of co-host a session at the Piping Centre on bellows pipes with Ellie McLaren, fiddler from Braemar. So obviously I'm keen on the bellows, so they just approached me again to do that class. And they know I really enjoy teaching and passing on tunes, and yeah.
Is it? Do you enjoy teaching? Do you enjoy the concept of teaching and passing on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite precious actually. If you get a good teacher that can instill a passion in you. I've had many of them over the years, hence why I'm here today enjoying what I'm doing. So I try get that across in my teaching. I'm doing some teaching in Larbert High School at the moment through a module at the university. So that's been great experience. Not just teaching kids, but teaching in a school environment. That's been definitely different to just teaching at the weekend in a wee room to adults. So it's been.
I'm having a stab in the dark here, but what are you, 23, 24?
Just on 21 a couple of weeks ago.
Ah, right, okay. You're 21. Well, you've got a wealthy experience going on here already for a 21-year-old to be in there.
Oh, yeah. Very
really
lucky. Very lucky, yeah.
Yeah. And passing it on already, that's fantastic that you're doing that. That's great. Really nice. Good.
The next video we have is...
Davey, just before you go on, I see Katie's comment there. She's gutted that's only over 18.
Over 18s. That's correct for the National Pipe Centre, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's... I don't know why.
What happens at this class?
It'll probably be due to what's it called again?
Health and safety. Disclosure thing, yeah.
So there'll be lots of costs involved in that, whereas adults, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's what it'll be. Well, Katie, just hang in there. You've not got long to
If you ask here nicely, he might teach you face to face.
Yeah.
So yeah, next video. Tell us a bit about this.
Yeah, so this is a recent one from just a couple of weeks ago. So in RCS, just in the cafe, in the public cafe we have there, we just put on a wee informal, just a wee performance for about 40 minutes. So just a wee sign up sheet, and I thought, why not? So it's just for a wee 5-minute slot,
Right.
and it's with a guitarist, Miguel, who's in the year below me at RCS doing traditional guitar. And I asked him the day before it, we had a run through an hour before it, played it twice, and just went for it. So this is a set that starts off with a tune of my own called Kelp Cottage. So it's a 2/4 march that I wrote about a month ago, and I named it after a cottage that I stayed in nearly every year on Uist when we were going to Keolis. And then it goes into a jig that I wrote for a pal of mine, Millie Sheridan, who is was a bartender at the Fisherman's Tavern, which is the pub that Davey and I met in. And then it finishes off with good old McNeil's of Ugadale.
And then you said earlier here about the what was I going to ask you about the bit about the piping course that I didn't know about when we were speaking. I thought you went to do a traditional course and that was it at Royal Conservatoire, but you were telling me there's actually a specific piping.
Yes. Yeah, so there's the traditional music department, and they have the traditional music degree, the Bachelor's Music with Honours, but there's also the traditional music piping degree. So we do the same stuff mainly in first and second year as the rest of the traditional music degree, but we have 2 additional classes. So Kjol Beck, which is light music, so march, strathspeys and reels, jig and hornpipes, and a Kjol Mór class, which is a pibroch class. So we have them each week on top of everything else. Keeps us busy.
You were saying just before we come on air there as well, Miguel is Portuguese, am I right in saying that?
Yes.
You said,
from Portugal, so he's over here.
Are you in the same year then at uni together then?
No, so Miguel, although he's older than me, he is in the year below at RCS.
So how to tell me traditional music like in Portugal, I mean I've heard of the Galician stuff, obviously North Spain and all that, does that kind of feed into the same kind of styles then, heading for Portugal?
So he is primarily doing Scottish traditional music on the course. However he does, it kind of shows in his playing that influence when he plays some of his solo stuff. So his partner Amy Lawrenson, being from Shetland, he's been up to Shetland and of course learns a lot of Shetland tunes. So it's nice hearing the kind of influences of his playing in those Shetland tunes.
Great hearing it going through. I remember in piping world a number of years ago, I think maybe some folk like 78 Fraser Highlanders and that started using tunes like the Merry Boys of Greenland and Mickey Ainsworth and that. They were all Shetland tunes, a couple of them kind of contemporary, but some of them really old, and Willa Fjord and things like that. And that was the first. And then, of course, Willie Hunter's The Kate Breton Fiddler's Welcome to Shetland that ended up getting played a lot, actually. I think that was maybe Gordon Duncan that came up with a version of that, to be honest. I'm not sure who came up with it.
Probably, yeah, I think it's Neil.
Yeah, but it was great to hear. So.
Here we go.
Sorry. What going? Yeah, go. Oh,
I'd just like to add, I forgot about the that performance in the morning, hence the shorts. I tend not to wear shorts for a public performance.
right. You'd be fairly marching along the street to the McNeil's of Ugadale at that time, right enough. A nice jig version of the McNeil's of Ugadale. Very good.
Yes, so I originally learnt that tune as a jig from
Right.
Kent Mackenzie from Cape Breton. So he was one of the people that taught me for that piping for set dancing class at Keolis, and he taught me it as a two-parter as a jig, and I didn't know the march existed.
It's funny how that happens with tunes, isn't it? You know the 6/8 march Old Adam that they talk about. Well, in the dance band scene and the dancing scene, they play the first part and the fourth part, and they call it a Therney Lodge. So it's exactly the same tune. But,
Oh, it's really interesting that throughout loads of tunes, you look at the old pipe tunes, there's one note different, and it's got a completely different name. So, yeah.
Really.
There's also a Shetland tune called Stumpy.
Stumpy's real.
Stumpy's real. And what did folk notice?
The Highland Wedding.
I don't
The Highland
know.
Wedding.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes.
Is that not a Neil Gow tune?
Stumpy is a Shetland tune.
I thought it was a Gow one.
And also, I have it on good authority that the Athol Highlanders, the melody, is also Shetland.
Really?
Mhm.
Nah.
I learned it from a book. Yeah.
Surely not.
Don't call me
Oh.
Shirley.
Surely. I was just thinking this dog would make quite a good Santa beard, wouldn't it?
You make a good sparring.
Yeah. Don't listen, dog.
Taxidermy.
That's brilliant. Really nice.
But as well as playing obviously the Highland pipes and bellows blown pipes, you also play the low whistle.
Aye. Yes. So I think for quite a few pipers, it's kind of the natural kind of second instrument almost, if they've not already played an instrument. So for those of you that don't know, the pipes have only got 9 notes naturally. Obviously, there's a few wee accidentals you can add in there, but your average pipe will have 9 notes, whereas on the whistle, you've got 2 full octaves plus a wee bit more if you try a bit harder. Yeah. So it's kind of the natural next step. So I kind of picked that up. End of my school career, moving into uni, I thought it was quite a good thing to have going to uni. And then since second year, I've been getting lessons with Ross Ainsley. So now in my third year of getting lessons with him, which has been very beneficial to my playing, definitely.
Do you know, I heard a track just happened to be on the television last night for Celtic Connections, and it was Tim Eadie and Ross Ainsley playing together. And it's stunning. Absolutely stunning, the two of them together. Just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just one of those duos that kind of they know each other's musicianship inside out.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows when they're playing. I've seen them a few times, so it's really nice to hear and to watch. Yeah, I was at the Celtic Connections gig earlier this year, the night before restrictions changed. So they had a sparse audience all about 5 feet apart, which was weird.
Actually, I was supposed to be playing the night before that, but ours got cancelled because that was the first ones they had back, kind of style thing. But no, it was really good. And with Tim Eadie, you don't actually know with Tim ever if what he's doing on stage he's meaning to do or if it's just happening.
Yeah,
it's an amazing talent. Like you think, did you plan that or did you not plan that? It's kind of quite clever what he does sometimes. And I mean, when I saw him playing with JP Conway up in Shetland a couple of times, and in the middle of one set he just stopped and started eating a Mars bar or something like that for a wee while, and then it's like, that's how it goes.
You do get to that point. So you mentioned as well you also do a bit of composing. So how many tunes is that now so far?
A few. I think the goal is definitely to have a wee collection out at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Davy Hunter's touting for business in our national school.
What's your point?
So yeah, no, that'd be the goal. Definitely one day. No kind of time frame. Just when I have a pool of tunes that I can kind of put together. Um, yeah, it's nice just sitting composing. For me, annoyingly, it's the ones that take five to 20 minutes that are the good ones, whereas the ones that I sit down for a while, they never work out. I don't know what it is, just the way it happens.
Listen, I
Yeah.
said that in a radio broadcast I done about a month ago. Some tunes that I write that I'm really chuffed with and think that's the one, that's a good one, and nobody's interested in the slightest bit. And then one that you write and you think, well, I suppose it's always another tune. And that's the one that catches on and everybody says that's great. You know, it's just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's something that I started kind of back at school, just messing around with tunes, and especially being at university, encouraged to compose, and it's nice meeting up with other musicians, which I'll tell you a wee bit about later. Writing with other musicians, but yeah, I'd encourage it for anybody. You'll write a few rubbish tunes before you write one good one, but I think we've all been there, and you need to do that before you get into the swing of it.
It's funny that. I like that. Do you see Ali Beek's comment there? That was Fly, Davy Boy.
He's just taking digs where he can.
Brother Meek looking after us there.
Yeah. That brings on to this next tune, which is a duet with an unknown whistle player called Finlay MacDonald.
Yes, aye. Yes. So we filmed this one of the days, Wednesday maybe. We filmed it. Just sat in his office and had a wee tune with him. We played some Christmas tunes. We also played EastEnders. Played that theme tune, just as you do. So this is a lovely tune that he taught me, actually for last year's recital. So I played it in May. It's a lovely Gaelic tune called Hook Me Ghoul, which I believe translates to like I Give Love. And it's just a lovely tune that I play regularly ever since he taught me it back in April.
Right.
So
is that not a Donna Summer tune? No, it's I Feel Love. Sorry, that's
I'm looking forward to EastEnders coming in this somewhere.
no, not this video.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry.
Coronation Street in the next one. That's got to be.
Joyce. Here we go.
Ah, lovely. Very, very nice. Can I just say there, folks, keep sharing the show if you could, that'd be great. And don't worry, I noticed Mary Tyndall put in there, hello, better than late than never for sunny California. But don't worry, folks, because remember, these shows are all recorded. You can watch them back on YouTube. You can watch them on Facebook again, whatever you fancy. So they're all there.
I'd like to point out that Mary said it was sunny but cold California.
I wonder
So,
what that means.
yeah.
What does that mean? 20 degrees or something?
Oh, it's a balmy 17.
Balmy.
What are we at now? Well, we're at 3 degrees, so in the positive. That's always good.
It's kind of howling and raining out here now. It's not very nice.
No, that's it. You mentioned obviously playing with other musicians, but you recently, I think you recorded as well, but you did the album launch for Ellie McLaren, the fiddle player.
Yes. Yeah. So I didn't actually play on the album. It was Eddie Seaman.
Okay.
He played both pipes and whistle on the album. But to kind of have both in a live setting for Ellie's EP launch, I was luckily invited
Drafted
on.
in.
Yes. G calls. So I played a few sets in the EP launch, which was great fun. So it's a 5-track EP called Dargai, which I'd encourage you all to check out and buy if you can.
Right.
But to kind of fill the 45 minutes, we added some different sets and put some sets together. So it was good learning stuff for that. But yeah, it's great working with musicians such as Lewis McLaughlin that was in that EP launch, and of course Eddie Seaman, who actually did a master's when I was in first year. So I already knew him through university, which was great.
You know something that's quite interesting as well? I'm going back here a wee bit, but when you were talking about books and bringing out music and that, I remember when I was young, one thing I used to like was, remember when the Irish books and that came out to begin with, and they used to have, and the Bailey Athol books and that to begin with, and they had some original comps in them, but they had arrangements in them of other tunes and all that. And I found that incredibly helpful when I was young, because it let you have a go at playing the gravel path and all that kind of tight tunes, you know what I mean, that you couldn't get a hold of anywhere else. And nobody really kind of does that really now, do they? It's more like you bring out a book of your own stuff. And
yeah, I do find that a lot of the tunes arrangements are already out there.
Maybe not available. But see, when I was young, there was no internet and stuff like that, you see, so we had to go around writing it off and back into Matchbox things.
To be fair, Peter, when you were younger, there's barely electricity, so
exactly.
let alone internet. But no, I do agree that there's a lot less arrangements being published now, but I think it's because folk are arranging tunes by composers. So, for example, Ciar's was playing an arrangement of McNeil's Argadale.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, it's all well and good, but somebody else could come up with some arrangement quite, on the same vein, because the tune's already out there and things like that. It's when you get tunes like, I'm trying to think, like George Norville's True for March, written on accordion. I can't remember what it's called. But then arranging it for the pipes or changing it for the pipes and things like that, it's no longer as difficult as it used to be, because
no,
it's out there. But
see Kate in Red Deer in Alberta, they're saying it's 23 below.
Yeah, but is that 23 centigrade or Fahrenheit?
Doesn't matter, it's still bloody cold.
That's actually true. Yeah. Cold is cold. Barely get started.
Anyway,
but
sorry,
so apart
and we had Ellie on the show, didn't we, at one time?
We did, and I spoke to Ellie at the Trads, because she was the house band for the Trad Awards this year.
That's right. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yep. So that was our second time doing that. She did it in Aberdeen, which was the last live one before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So she was invited back to Dundee
to try it again.
Aye.
Yeah, that was my typical luck, getting nominated every year that was a pandemic on and you couldn't get to the do. That was just perfect. Never mind. We got this year, Davey.
We did. But we didn't win it.
We didn't win it.
It's all a con!
I even asked. I wrote to Santa and asked if we could win that, and he said, "Yeah."
He's thinking next year though.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is. You missed it. Should have
Sure.
like last year. So apart from university, you're in your 4th year. What you're doing your dissertation on?
So last year I did a project. This is really nerdy, but I looked into the woods used in pipes and kind of that was an interesting topic and hearing people's opinions on that. But this year I'm doing it on kind of how Keolis has affected my musicianship. So kind of getting out of that pipe band sphere. Not necessarily that's a bad thing, but it's just something that I think more pipers should do to try experiment with different styles of playing. How that's affected my musicianship. So like learning tunes by ear as well. That's so important as well. And just getting into that style of playing for step dancing or playing with fiddle and whistle and guitar and piano.
Yeah.
So autoethnographic stuff about myself is analysing how my playing's changed over the years.
I think the step dancing thing for you is a brilliant thing. It comes over really well because you're playing for dancing. Your tempos are for playing for dancing, and it's really nice. And like I say, that kind of line up guitar, piano that you're saying, fiddle, it comes over and it's really nice and swingy and danceable. Because sometimes folk just go over the top a wee bit with speed and tempo and things like that, and it loses it, So
yeah, it's a lot to do with the style, which is something I've struggled to not master, but just get into over the years. But I'm getting there, which is good. Definitely a very niche thing in piping, getting that style of playing for dancing. But yeah, it's good. It's good when it's good.
Yeah, even the Cape Breton style of piping is different as well to the step dancing. It doesn't matter where you go. Everyone's got a different style.
Yeah. But even remember, it's quite nice to go into the niches if you can find them and do that kind of thing. Because, remember we had Donald McPhee on the programme, and Donald done lots of playing for the Highland dancing. And he's, to the extent he's got CDs out and everything that people.
And they are the kind of the Bibles for most of the Highland dancing groups. They both play, because I think a lot of it's 20 odd tracks on the album. It's 3 tracks of each dance, and it's different tempos and all that sort of stuff. And it's his wife's a Highland dancer, so
the step dancing, like yourself, you're playing that kind of stuff. The more musicians that would play that way, probably there'd be more people step dancing.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So
absolutely, yeah. There are players out there like Finn Moore, Kenneth McKenzie. I think he does a wee bit possibly, who kind of dabble with piping and step dancing. A lot of fiddlers out there that play and do step dancing, so you kind of get the full picture when you can do both. It makes you understand it a lot more.
Aye, absolutely. Good, yeah.
So we're going to end this evening, or your part. This is the part with you, with a track from Ellie McLaren's EP launch, which was in St Margaret's Church in Braemar.
Yep. Yeah, at the start of October, I believe. Yep. Yeah, well done.
You believe you're there?
I know. It feels an eternity ago. Just so busy with stuff.
Davey, they get to go into St Margaret's Church, and where did we get filmed? In that shopping centre or something?
The shopping centre across the road. Yeah.
Nice.
We got into the actual games park. That was all right.
Oh, we got in the games park and done a bit there.
Yeah.
With Dale.
That was the video that was shown at the Trad Awards. That was us in the shopping bit just across the road.
Yeah, we were on the shopping bit across the road for you in Braemar.
It's not where you do it, it's what you do.
Yeah.
And this is a set of reels, am I correct?
Yes, so these are 2 reels. First one's quite well known, Fourth Floor by Gordon Duncan. And then we'll finish off with a tune, so I talked about earlier about writing with other people. So there's a piper that was in the year above me, Finlay Frame. Him and I used to meet up every so often last year, kind of in like January, February, March time, and we'd meet up in the Piping Centre, do some tune writing, and then would go off to the Station Bar, the well-known pub in Glasgow. And then
for a glass of water.
Aye, of course.
Ah,
So no, we used to get a round of Guinness each, and for those of you that have had Guinness before, there's a wee heart on the Guinness glass that says Guinness. So a lot of people within one sitting would kind of try to get the black of the Guinness below that heart line. So we named the tune, well, one of the tunes that were all Below the Heart Line, and it's taken off quite well. So this video is Fourth Floor and Below the Heart Line.
Here we go, and we'll come back to speak to you after this.
on pipes. Ciar Milne.
We've got official launch for EP today, all the way from Illinois.
Yeah, that's smash. Great playing.
Lovely, thank you.
looked like a brawly night.
Yes, oh, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. It's good to, I do a lot of weddings and kind of ceilidh function stuff, but it's good to have like an actual gig with a paying audience. Mainly it's the Ellie, of course, but it's so good
listening
to
audience.
be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yeah.
That's the other thing as well, is obviously you play these gigs, you play in sessions in pubs and things like that. Yes, there's folk there to listen to it, but there's also folk just there because they're there.
Yeah.
And you don't always get the same kind of reaction on both sides of it. But yeah, that's it. What I forgot to mention, Peter, was that Ciar was actually working in the Fisherman's Tavern on my stag do.
Oh, what did he?
Yeah.
It was Ciar that threw you out then.
No, don't remember. No, I don't think it was. Maybe threw Ali out.
I wouldn't like to try and throw Ali Meek out of somewhere.
Well, many have tried, many have failed. But again, Ciar, thanks so much for joining us this evening. It's been a long time trying to get you on, but you are the last guest of 2022.
It's an honour.
We're kind of bookending it because the first guest was Mr. Stuart Cassels this year.
It's only gone downhill.
But no, I just want to kind of send our wishes to Stuart following his kind of his stroke.
Absolutely.
He has contacted me. He is getting better, and it's just kind of healing and such. But yeah, all our thoughts are with you and the family.
Take it easy.
But so, plans for Christmas?
Here, there, and everywhere. So, yep. Stay in Glasgow for a few more days, and then I'll up to Braemar, where Ellie's from. So up to Braemar on Christmas Eve, playing in the wonderful Fife Arms. Coming back down, weather permitting, coming back down on Christmas to see the folks, and then back to Glasgow for some gigs, then back up to Ballater on Hogmanay, to play in the Balmoral Arms, and then overnight back down on New Year's Day to drop somebody off in Dundee, then back up on New Year's Day to Braemar, to play in the Fife Arms again, and then hopefully get a wee rest, and then university, and then Celtic Connections, and then
Is the person you're having to run to Dundee, have they ever thought about getting a bus? Or?
On New Year's Day, I think that'll be hard.
Get a taxi.
Aye, we taxi. Well, they're going to Edinburgh, so I thought Dundee was a nice halfway point.
That's fair enough. Yeah, get him to Blair. But no, it's great having you on, Ciar. But if anyone wants to contact you or get in contact with us using your Facebook, it's probably the best option.
Yes.
And if I don't see you beforehand, have a great Christmas and New Year.
And yourself, both of you. Yep.
Thanks, Ciar, for coming on. It's been great chatting to you and great music.
No, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Thanks so much. All the best, Ciar.
Cheers,
have a good one.
Bye now.
There we go.
Fantastic player. Fantastic player.
Yes, he is. We're not all bad lads from Dundee. See? Me and Ciar, that's it. But no, what was that?
What did you say? You're not all what for Dundee?
We're not all bad lads.
Oh, no. You're all right, actually. You're quite quiet and sensible, really. Well, that's it. So, anyway, listen, that's been brilliant. All right, thanks very much.
It has. But as this is the last show of the year, because obviously Christmas Day falls on a Sunday, then New Year's Day falls on a Sunday, I want to end tonight's show on a kind of a New Year's stalwart.
Yeah.
So we're going to end the show a bit different.
What is that? The hokey cokey?
The hokey cokey, as everyone knows it, you put your left leg in, you take the cash out. But no, I just want to end up. So it'll be a slightly different ending tonight. So to everyone who's kind of been with us this year and the years previously, thank you very much. I hope you all have a nice Christmas and New Year when it comes. Look after yourselves, look after your families.
Yeah. We'll see you in the new year, folks. We'll see you in the new year. We've got lots more lined up already.
We have. And just so those that are still here, we have an exclusive for you. On the 8th of January, which is our first show back, we have the piper, accordion player, Gaelic singer and weather presenter, Callum McCall.
Yeah, Callum's going on. That's going to be great fun.
So
there must be something in the weather department, is there? That you have to play musical instruments. So that Dryden Lopp sings Gaelic and all that, and then so does Callum.
And they've got Owen Wyn Jones as well down in BBC, down south. He plays drums.
You think is that on the Is that on the application form?
It might be a kind of a, you know, they say desired or essential. Maybe one of the desired musicians.
Possibly
Yeah.
Hero, Button Box, or Sing Gaelic.
Well, we'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is a band I was previously in, because I don't actually play a lot of my own videos, but I did the video work for this. And here is Auld Lang Syne, but to the traditional melody.
Yeah. Have a great Christmas and New Year, folks.
Aye,
And
Kava.
we'll see you after this. Take care. Cheers. See you in the new year.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot for old lang syne? For old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll tak a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne, and surely you'll be your pine stove, and surely I'll be mine, and we'll tak a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne, for old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll tak a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne, we twa here on earth put the praise and put the gowans fine, but we've wandered money a weary fit sin old lang syne. For old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll tak a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne, we twa he paddle in the bun, from morning sun till day, but seas between us great he roared, said old lang syne. For old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll tak a cup o' kindness yet. For old lang syne. And there's a hand my trusty fear, and take a hand o' thine. We'll tak a wreck, good Willie Woe, for old lang syne.